Alrighty then, it's time for a Jungle Jarvan game, and this is the first one for the Season 6 Jungle. Which one? It's still preseason, and it is a very fast meta, but there are problems that people are facing, and mostly it's just a lot of complaints about how the jungle is weaker or worse than before. And the thing is, it's just a lot of people are not used to transitioning properly, or how transitioning works. The thing is, transitioning is when you go from the jungle to the actual game. No matter how many people like to believe it doesn't change, the jungle is... you don't jungle for the entire game. There is something called just the jungle phase. Past that point, you're just another champion, just with a summoner spell down. Your role in the game starts kind of going into whole team fights. The time that happens is determined completely by how fast the meta is, or how slow it is. Anyways, watch this. The Annie, I didn't know didn't have a stun, so she did that whole shoot the projectile, then activate her shield thing, so it stunned the Yasuo, and I predicted his movements completely wrong, or at least I just got tricked by my own teammate. I just loop around and pretty much make sure I don't fail this time by making sure she stuns him first, and then I stab him. Either way, from the very beginning of the game, I just had in my mind to go in and start pressuring the laners quickly. Make sure to get an edge early, because I'm also going AD Jarvan, because I feel tank Jarvan is a little bit too slow for this meta. Of course, I will be building Dead Man's Plate as my only tanky item, since it technically still provides quite a bit of damage. The gank down here is very messy, and would have failed because they didn't focus the Alistar. I felt the Lucian was far too safe, and the Leona had already missed her ability, so the Alistar would have been the better choice. Fortunately, the Lucian gets very greedy and gets picked off. Runes and Masteries are attack damage red, attack damage quins, armor yellow, and magic resistance blues, and the Masteries are 18, 0, and 12. The 12 can go into either the defensive one or into the cunning. In this case, I took the defensive one, though I probably should start taking the cunning since it's been working out better on a lot of other champions. Either way, the transitioning point has been changed either by Riot, either forcibly or accidentally, because it's might be an oversight by the new item. As you know, the new items, the new changes to the machete and the talisman in the jungle are basically supposed to make you so only the junglers get the full benefit of killing the monsters. If the laner tries to take the monsters, they won't get as much experience as the guy who has a jungle item. This has inadvertently created a point in the game where the jungle doesn't keep up with how it should have scaled before. So early on, it's pretty much the same thing. You're Season 5. The jungle will give you roughly about the same amount of gold and experience, and it is a weaker jungle, so you shouldn't have as much of a problem. The thing, though, is as the game goes on, it becomes worse for you. You don't get as much resources. You kind of start getting beat up a little bit. This is where Ranger's Trailblazer would have helped you out. So you're kind of shafted by that. So I don't know if Riot intended that or didn't, but in any case, it's made the transitioning point a lot lower. So junglers have to survive with less resources early. You have to become a person of action. The jungle itself will not take care of you for very long, so you need to start looking for kills or any opportunities as much as possible. This makes champions with weaker early games or a less pressure game early worse. Either you need a champion that ramps up quickly, such as Dr. Mundo with his new E and just pretty much just building health, or someone who can gank the living hell out of people like Lee Sin and Jarvan, although Jarvan has a pretty bad win rate at the moment. So as you can see there, that's why with Jarvan, I'm just trying to do my very best at finding every situation I can and forcing a fight or a kill, because Jarvan's not the best farmer. And if I just stood around farming all day, I would have probably been behind the enemy Fizz. Well, the Fizz doesn't farm that well either, but he's been trying to look for kills as well. In short, I need to do things as a champion like Jarvan, and that in itself is not the best thing, because if you get shut down or you don't get kills, then you're going to be very far behind. So yeah, this is it's no surprise. It's already been known if you've played it. This is a very fast meta, and some players just have not been able to keep up with it because they're still trying to play like Season 5, where it's Season 5 wasn't a slow meta, but it wasn't as fast as it is right now. So I've seen players, all they do is try to farm, and they get punished for that because they're not ready for the team fights. I've seen players pick champions who don't have an easy time farming, and then they're surprised they're surprised when they actually transition. They can't deal with the skirmishes. They're trying to pick late game champions, and then they get punished. Jarvan is an early game dominating champion who can snowball a game. So you can see, I'm just even if I die, like in this case, I'm going to die. I didn't know if this was here, but whatever. I am trying to do the whole 1-for-1 thing. If I kill somebody and I build more damage, even if I were to die, I could possibly continue killing them every single time and essentially delete them from the game. So yeah, I mean, I haven't been commentating too much about the game, but as you can see, everything is going crazy. Everyone's trying to kill each other. I'm trying to kill everybody. My bottom lane teammates push their tower as quickly as they could so they can join other fights, and skirmishes are occurring everywhere. This is a byproduct of a fast meta. And again, I know I'm repeating myself, not everybody has been able to cope with that, and they're getting frustrated. I like fast metas, although again, this season can use a bit of refinement. It's pretty damn action-packed, you gotta admit that. As you can see, 24 kills before 15 minutes in, and you can see with the length of this video, it's not going to be a complete shutout. A lot of games have been shutouts, but Jesus shit, it's just like we're already pushing for the inhibitor at 15 minutes in, and we're pretty frail enough that the enemy team, if we do something stupid like we just did right now, can punish us and kill us. So damn, we got fucking murdered. Still though, as far as Jarvan goes, I think he's going to be one of those junglers that isn't going to win games just by being Jarvan, but by the player behind him. His win rate kind of reflects this. Some of his wins seem to be complete stomps, as in the Jarvan goes crazy and murders everybody, and others just be where he gets murdered and doesn't do anything. In this case, I'm right now just getting murdered by the Fizz and Alistair because I didn't know the Fizz was here, so I get pretty much shut out. Yeah, so if you're going to play Jarvan, I would strongly recommend you build offense, because tank Jarvan, I just don't see it working anymore. I mean, it could work, but like it's kind of better just to become be the point man of your team, where you're in there, deal damage, set up your team up to annihilate them. It's just, look at that, 33 kills now. 33 kills now. It's pretty even in gold as well. And it's just like there's a lot of things happening, and it's like even if we get killed, even if my team gets wiped out or their team wipes out, they can have the chance to win the next one simply because everybody's pretty much encouraged to go full-on combat. More teams are a little bit squishier than usual in season 5, except maybe the support, the supports which just kind of are tanky by nature. Like, look, we just pretty much wiped out the enemy team, and the Lucian's going to get to survive. Well, actually, the Alistair seem to have survived too. And they're able to push us away, and they're still going to be able to murder us. It's just, in my opinion, I'm not enjoying preseason as much because a lot of games are shutouts and a lot of people are bitchy, but I've always been fond of super fast metas. So I like playing my Jarvan. I like playing, you might see me play my Lee Sin, which is a rare occurrence. I just kind of don't like him in the long games because I don't like building him tanky Lee Sin. But either way, as you can see, it's just everybody, even fucking Nasus is encouraged to actually be fighting people, because he's not going to be, I'm even surprised he picked Nasus. He's not going to be able to do anything. So right now, champions like Annie are awesome. Even champions like Leona could do things because she's a pretty early game snowbally champion. And as you can see, my teammates get an advantage, then they get punished because everybody, again, is encouraged to murder the living shit out of everybody. Meanwhile, me and Nasus are pushing top, and I probably should have hit this, but I was very worried about the Riven and the enemy team who are going to recall just murdering me, which is a very sad thing, because even if I had died out there, I would have actually taken a tower, because right now this Fizz is on a warpath and manages to catch me and murder me. I'm assuming he's going with that whole cooldown reduction crap, or I don't know, that some people have been recommending as Fizz. Apparently 45% cooldown reduction Fizz is a thing right now, or he just becomes really frustrating to deal with by spamming his E. Either way, you can see my build. I got Warrior, which is really good now. Well, it's been good before, but it's really good now with all the stats it gives. But we'll add Cleaver and Dead Man's Plate to give myself this cooldown reduction and bursty nature for myself. If I jump on anybody, I'll pretty much murder them. I screw up my EQ here. I was going to EQ the Riven, but fortunately my teammates are nearby and we destroy the Riven. Yasuo has absolutely no chance in hell of doing anything. And we pick them off. Meanwhile, at top lane, you can see that Nasus is fighting the Fizz, and unfortunately, he gets killed. He's trying to do his own thing somewhere at top lane, which is fine by me. 50 fucking kills, all right? At 23 minutes in, 50 kills. This isn't the only jungle game or a game in general that has gone to a lot of kills. Usually, though, it's kind of one-sided, but this one is really even. And again, this is why I'm figuring that Riot wants to promote a faster meta. We've seen those those LCS games where both teams just kind of sit around doing nothing, and the game is decided after just 10 kills, and that's after 30 minutes. That's really depressing to watch, and it's honestly why I've mostly stopped watching competitive. There's a lot of snooze fest games. So Riot's hoping that a game like this, I mean, pretty much the professional players aren't going to make as many mistakes as we did or as I did. They're going to be more organized, so there will be obvious shutouts. The games won't have 56 kills by 25 minutes, of course not. But they will hopefully have at least more action-oriented earlier games. We'll likely see the Twisted Fates come out. We'll likely see Yasuo's because of the Warlords thing. We'll likely see Rivens, we'll likely see Rivens and Alistairs and anything that can promote these super aggressive early game things. So I'm even though Jarvan's early win rate is pretty bad right now for the preseason in the solo queue, I wouldn't be surprised to see him come out. Although of course Riot will probably change the preseason, so we don't know if this super fast meta is going to stay. It might slow down a little bit, but as of now, you just have to build anything. If your champion can have a very aggressive build, then it's pretty much recommended you go for that. Jarvan is awesome for this. Yeah, I would even say Xin Zhao is good for it, unless you're fighting like 380 carries who all knock you around and escape you. I wouldn't recommend Xin Zhao. But yeah, if you're gonna play Jarvan, build him something like I did, just straight out murder. As you can see, I'm building the Last Whisper for pretty much being able to insta-give near anybody, except the Fizz, because you'll probably just do some stupid shenanigans again. Anyways, we go for Baron. We're going for the kill now, and as you can see, if we wipe out the enemy team, which we probably will, this game is almost upwards to 70 kills, currently at 64. So, Jesus shit. Right now, the Annie gets killed. She went aggressive for the Lucian. I didn't really join my team here because I was going straight to support the Annie, so I arrived late to this, and I again screw up my Q. It's just some weird bugginess when you try to use EQ under duress. And I just kind of waited in the outskirts waiting for the cooldowns to come back, but the Nasus is already going crazy anyway, so I just kind of helped kill them while the Nasus did most of the work. So the Lucian's gonna come by right now, just, I don't know, instead of recalling, and we easily murder him using EQ and my ultimate. So right there, that is 70 games before a 30-minute game. That's pretty damn exciting and pretty damn fun. So at the very least, this fast meta is cool to watch.